Over the weekend, JD Vance really said a very terrifying statement coming from the Vice President of the United States. And George Conway this morning, I think, put everything into perspective in a way that I think we all need to hear. JD Vance said, if a judge tried to tell a general how to conduct a military operation, that would be illegal. If a judge tried to command the attorney general and how to use her discretion as a prosecutor, that's also illegal. Judges aren't allowed to control the executive's legitimate power. And then JD Vance retweeted these very incorrect and lawless ideas. JD is correct about this, and examples are exactly right, where the executive has sole and plenary power under the Constitution, as in commanding military operations or exercising prosecutorial discretion. Judges cannot constitutionally interfere. That's not true. George Conway is about to say why. Schlichter said, what if a judicial decision is lawless? A key component of the constitutional framework is judicial modesty, which is backed up by the fact that judiciary has nothing to compel obedience except its credibility. See, I'm a lawyer too, but the difference, Adam, is that I'm a good one. Kurt says that about Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff, who said, JD, we both went to law school, but we don't have to be lawyers to know that ignoring court decisions we don't like puts us on a dangerous path to lawlessness. We just have to swear an oath to the Constitution and mean it. I agree. Here is George Conway explaining what this is all heading to, unfortunately. It's a little long, like 3 minutes, which is long for YouTube, but I really would suggest you watch it all. It's really important.
Remarkable that these people went to law school. But I want you to just talk just in general, and we're going to go through, again, just to show all the times Joe Biden's executive orders were either enjoined or overturned. But this happens, right? Presidents do executive orders at the beginning of the term, not to this degree, not pushing the boundaries as much, perhaps, as President Trump has done. But this happens. There are challenges. Some things get through. Some things don't. But you don't have a vice president. I guess Spiro Agnew probably did. But you don't have a vice president going out there going, oh, the court can't do this. They can't stop our legitimate power when, of course, again, the Supreme Court determines what the executive branch's legitimate powers are and what they are not. And it has been that way for 240 years, has it not?
Real quick, if you're liking this video, please hit like on the video. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And, J.D. Vance is an embarrassment to the law school that I attended. But the fact of the matter is he's telling us something that we should have already known. And last week I said it. They are not going to obey court orders. They have decided that they are going to push the boundaries on executive power by basically infringing on the Article 1 power of Congress. And they are violating they're writing the Constitution, the text of the Constitution in the birthright citizenship issue. They are violating the text of statutes by having DOJ run around and do all the things that have been doing these executive orders. There's no reason that this government that has decided not to obey the laws and the Constitution of the United States is going to obey a court order. And as you know, Joe, having practiced law, there's really only one way that courts can enforce their orders when somebody is being contumacious and refusing to obey an order. And that's to send the U.S. Marshals out to take somebody in and to hold them in contempt or to otherwise enforce court orders. Well, who does the U.S. Marshals Service work for? The U.S. Marshals Service is part of the United States Department of Justice. It reports to Donald J. Trump. And what's going to happen here, mark my words, is that at some point, they are going to basically tell the United States Marshal Service, do not enforce any of these orders. We will not obey them, and you are not to enforce them. And once that happens, I hope it doesn't happen, but I know in my heart that it will. Our 236-year experiment in the federal rule of law, in democratic self-governance for the United States of America, in American constitutionalism, is essentially over.
So do not look away. This very well could happen, that the President of the United States instructs his DOJ to not enforce court martials. We are heading towards unknown, uncharted territory. And unfortunately for us, Democrats, the people who kind of had a sense of where this was all going to happen, we're not surprised. But to me, it's still shocking and scary that we find ourselves in this new era of America. And unfortunately, Donald Trump has never been more popular than ever. I'm going to have my editor put up Donald Trump's approval ratings, which is the highest it's ever been. So America likes what they're seeing, at least what they're being shown by the mainstream media. Of course, we know what Donald Trump is doing is lawless. It's against the Constitution. It is pissing all over the separation of powers in our Constitution. And there's really only one way we're going to be able to stop it. Well, two ways. One is we have to make sure the American people understand what is happening. We have to make sure that they know what is happening and why it matters. That's not going to happen overnight. A lot of people have tuned out. They see Donald Trump open up the water in California. They see planes of undocumented immigrants being flown out of the country. Of course, this is stuff that A, the water doesn't help. Two, the plane isn't anything new. Biden has been doing it. But Donald Trump knows what Biden didn't, and that is so much of the job of being president is about showing people you're doing something. Biden did a lot. He just is a very humble man, and he didn't as much tell the American people what he was doing, and I wish he would have. But we have to make sure we push back on Donald Trump. And secondly, when this happens, there will be a moment, and I hope you will join me, that when people smarter than me tell us it's time to go to the streets and protest peacefully, I will be there with you. Because we have to make sure Donald Trump knows that we are paying attention. And kings, dictators, and presidents can do a lot, but they can't get away with a lot if they don't have the support of the people. So we have to show Donald Trump that we mean business.